You probably came across this video when you had a sudden motivation to get back to working or studying again after scrolling for an hour, saying you were going to take a 5-minute break. I know it happens with all of us. There's so many distractions, and controlling them is just so difficult. And when you feel like that now it is enough, we've seen enough, we've scrolled enough, we start searching up videos on how to control these distractions, but then again we get stuck in an endless cycle of scrolling once again. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The value you're going to take away from today's video is tips and advice on how to work with focus without any distractions such as your phone or your surrounding, and when everything else seems so interesting. And I know that you must be looking for this completely unique, non basic advice that will change your life immediately, and it will help you cope up with your distractions in as like magic. So, well, let me spill the hard truth. Stop looking for a different advice, because this is leading on to even more procrastination. You're so dependent on an advice given, and you're just like, let me find that one thing that will just change my life immediately. This non basic, unique advice that will help me cope up with my distractions, like as of a magic. And you try it all out. You try all of these advices out. You try all of those hacks, putting your screen, like making your screen black, deleting your apps, your Instagrams, but then you find yourself coming back to the same thing after 5 minutes of trying to control them. No one is coming to save you. No one has to save you. No one has that responsibility. Even on YouTube, all these whatever advice, self-help videos you'll be searching out, right? And you'll watch 10 of those videos, but you'll find yourself back to point one. You'll find yourself back at the starting point, because you know what mistake you're making. The mistake you're making is constantly searching for the advice, but at the same time, when you know how you have to cope up with the distractions, the only thing that can help you cope up with these distractions is self control, nothing else. There are a few more things, of course, like 2 3 things that I'll be mentioning in this video. So this is probably the last video you would want to watch, but then again, after watching this video, your distraction problem will not get solved immediately. Trust me, it will not, because your learning start after you finish the self-help video, after you finish the book, after you finish the podcast. While you're listening to this, it does not mean your distractions are ended. You're learning. Your process of coping up with those distractions will start after this. And yes, I give you my guarantee that if you actually do what I'm trying to tell you, like self-control, if you actually master it, trust me, you don't have to watch another video again. You don't have to go out and distract yourself with so many different things. But it all comes down to you. My efforts are zero as compared to yours, because I can tell you what to do, but doing it is up to you. No one is coming to save you. No one has to save you. You have the control to your life. You have the power to either fix your life or destroy it to pieces. Every time you get distracted, just remember why you started. Why did you even start studying right now? Why did you even start working on this project right now? Why did you start? Why? That is the main problem. People nowadays, they don't have a why. And I'll be discussing it more right now. Just give me a moment. So you have to remember why you started. And some people are aren't convinced with this advice. But let me tell you, there is no unique advice. The only advice is self-control and having a why. Right, that is the only thing, and a few more things which, as I said, I'll be discussing, but I want you to watch till the end if you want to know all of it. Right, self-control is key. Doing all of these things, like shutting off your phone, working in an empty room, deleting all the apps, putting on the timers, it will not work. None of it will work if you lack self-control, because just see, like, if you, yes, you decided to delete your apps, you decide to delete your Instagram, you'll go on to Google and search up the website and start scrolling again. That desire inside of you, that desire to continue to scroll, that dopamine hits you're getting from scrolling or whatever distraction you have, it will not stop, because you're stuck in an endless cycle. And I even discussed this in an episode of my podcast, where I said, when you actually watch all of these things, right, when you're working, right, you have this, if you build a flow, when you start your work for some minutes, you build up a flow. But when you actually take a break, decide to take a 5-minute break, and you start getting those dopamine hits from scrolling or whatever else you're doing from your show or your series or whatever, you then get stuck in the cycle of that. And because you actually like doing it, you like scrolling, and you get all those dopamine hits, you get stuck in that cycle, and it gets difficult for you to come out of that cycle, and you never end it. You never end up getting back to your work with the full focus and actually focusing on it and getting the work done. So none of these tips will work if you lack self-control. Now let me get to my second point, which is find your why. If you don't have a driving force, you don't have a reason to get out of your bed to actually go and do the work, you will never be able to do it. Now, your why does not mean that I'm going to work hard and earn money because I want to My why is I want to get that luxury handbag. That is not your why. Does it even drive you? Does it make you crazy to even actually want to achieve that goal or dream of yours? Your why has to be specific, and it has to be suited to you. So for example, your why can be making your parents proud, having freedom, and having respect from other people, going out and traveling all the time, living your life on your own terms, making money work for you, making time work for you, having all the time you need to experience different things that has to offer, experiencing all the cultures, living your life without having to worry how when your next paycheck is going to come. So all of these can be your why, and it has to be personal to you. So just pause this video for a minute and think, why are you actually doing what you are doing? For what reason are you doing it? What is your driving force? What is that one reason that will make you get out of bed and it will force you to do that work or study or whatever it is? If you don't have that why, give up right now. There's no point in continuing the work. There's no point in studying if you don't have a why, if you don't have a clear reason. So give up right now if you don't have it. And as I said, your why cannot be buying that luxury handbag or buying this dream home of mine or buying this car. That is not your why. That's just a materialistic aspect. That's just a materialistic desire. That's not your why. That's not your reason to jump out of bed and start doing those things. And when you actually find your why, you have to learn to love the process of it. Learn to love what you're doing, because if you don't love it, right, if you don't do what you love, or you don't love what you do, then you will have no passion inside of you, no ambition for actually doing that thing, and you will not never do that thing from actually a desire to do it, right? You will just forcibly do it. So that is another problem. We take all things in life for granted, right? We take it all for granted. You start treating your life as a privilege, everything that you get to do. Never say that you have to work, you have to work. Say that I get to work, I get to study, and I get to do all these things to accomplish my goal, to accomplish my why. I choose to do it. I choose to study, and I choose to do whatever it takes to get to my why, right? And I choose to do it. I'm choosing to do it, and I'm getting to do it, because there's so many people out there in the world who are not getting this opportunity, and they may be crazy for it. They may be so crazy for it, but they just don't have it. And you having that opportunity, you're taking it for granted. How cruel is that? Instead, what you can do is just go out to the streets and find people who actually have that, want that opportunity, and just give out the opportunity to them. At least do a good deed in your life if you can't make the most out of that opportunity, and if you can't treat it as a privilege. Treat your life as a privilege. Treat your time as a privilege. Go out in a hospital and ask somebody who's dying that look at them and see that they don't have any time, right? And you right now, you have all this time in the world. You've got the time to make the most out of your life, experience the amazing thing life has to offer, and you're wasting your time. You're getting distracted from what you actually want to do and what you actually desire to do. Stop taking life for granted, and stop being so ignorant and want to be cool by ignoring and criticizing what you do. That's the new cool. That's the new trend, that we can disrespect what we are doing. But if you do that, trust me, you're never going to get anywhere. Now another thing is, you have a choice every single time. You can't hold off any expectations from other people. You cannot go out to other people and expect anything from them, and expect to get results, right? To expect them to fulfill your expectations. But the one person you can hold off expectations from yourself from is you and yourself only. Think of your why. Every single time you're getting distracted by your phone or whatever is surrounding things that are seeming so interesting to you, just think of your why for a minute. Why do you start? Why do you actually want to do it? And every single time you have a choice, where you can either choose to wake up in the morning or snooze off your alarm and sleep off more, and or you can choose to get back to your work, or just decide that you want to scroll for 5 minutes more. You can choose to study for 2 hours now and then relax, or you can choose to bed rot all day and regret at night time. And of course, I'm not saying to have fun. I'm not saying to indulge yourself. I'm not saying to not take off that time, that sleep that you need. Of course, take it off, but you need to seek balance. Balance is the most important keyword over here. Seek balance where you're, of course, working towards what you want without any distractions. When you're actually doing something, have full focus in it. When you're indulging in yourself, you're giving yourself the love and care, 100% be fully focused in that. But when you're working, 100% be fully focused in the work or the study part. That is what balance actually is. So yes, I'm not saying to not have fun and to not relax a little, but first get the thing out of the way and then relax all you want. Of course, seek balance. Now, don't be like that. You have to work all day around. You have to seek balance, and also indulge in some care and love for yourself, because you deserve that. Of course, you leave time to relax once you're done with that work, right? You choose. You have the power to destroy or create, fix your life. You have that power right now, and at every single point of your life, you can choose to either become a better version of yourself or become a like a step back from the version you're already on and be pushed even further back. It is not your abilities is what defines you. It is your choices that completely define who you are. Of course, not completely, but they do define. Your choices define you more than your capabilities and abilities. Because I can be so capable of studying so well, right? I can be a straight A student, but if I choose to be on my phone and not study right now for that test coming up, then what's the point? I hope I knocked some sense into you, because these are the only important things, like self control, having your why, realizing that you have a choice every single time, and another thing, that you have to start treating life as a privilege. Now, a few other things that I'd like to say is that the perfect time is now. Stop waiting for the perfect time. I know all of you do this, that right now you say that, okay, you know what, I'll study at 4 o'clock, and right now it is like 3:50, and when it actually comes to a 4, when it turns 4:05, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to study at 4:15, and when it turns 4:16, you're like, you know what, let me just study at 4:30, and this cycle goes on forever, and then you just end up getting no work done and you regret later. This is the cycle of the brain, and this is how the brain fools you, right? Because you indulge in a lot, you get stuck in the cycle, and when you're stuck in the cycle, you think of nothing else, but at night you're actually regretting what to do. So remember, you have a choice. There's no point in not choosing to break out of that endless fake dopamine cycle and just regretting at night. Conquer that regret, conquer that dread. Once you procrastinate it, start again. Just start. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about the perfect time or the perfect setup for your work. Just start. That's the biggest hack to being productive. Just start. There's no other tip. The most productive people, they just start on the work, right? They just start it, and then they just get it done. And of course, I'm not saying that work in this endless cycle of work and study and do not take any breaks. Of course, you have to take breaks, but do not let distractions be a break for you, right? Your distractions are like your break in disguise, or else I should say, like, your breaks are distraction in disguise. So take the correct breaks, which are the boring breaks, where you're going out in nature and strolling for a while, or else you're just sitting out of your workplace, sitting for 5 minutes, doing nothing, meditating if you want, and then once those 5 minutes or even 10 minutes or 15 minutes are up, you go back to your work. So this way your endless cycle does not get broken. And of course, when you've worked a lot for a while, right, and then you're like, you know what, I really need a long break, that's when you can go off, eat something or watch something if you want, but then get back to your work. Take breaks, of course, because your brain, if it works in this endless cycle, right, it can also not function properly, and you'll end up you'll only get quantity work done, not the quality work. Of course, build confidence in order to conquer your regret that you have at night. And confidence cannot be built with words enough. Words are not enough to build your confidence. You have to back your confidence up, those words of confidence, with actions. So you have to start implementing what you're saying yourself to do, right? I'm saying that you have to make a choice, and you're like, yes, I agree, I have the power to make a choice, but then you're not implementing it in your life and you're not taking any action. Then what's the point? That's not building confidence. That instead is making you underconfident. Stop fearing to do the work, right? You fear to get the work done. Remember, if you're in your comfort zone, right, and you're not even having fear to do something new, then what's the point? You're not growing and evolving. But once you actually get that thing done, trust me, you will feel so much better. You feel a whole lot better, and it will build your confidence. So just get your work done. Fear, courage is not the absence of fear, but it's just the triumph over it. You have to conquer the fear. It's not about why you fell, it's about how you stand up. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned something or the other from it. You remember, you're worthy, you're blessed, and I'll see you next week. Till then, remember to just relax.